The elders were correct. As the last remnants of greed and corruption slip away, humanity has realigned with the higher dimensions. Illumined beings are presenting themselves, and many of us are seeing them. My experience began in the center of an English crop circle, and I've seen them ever since. Light beings, orbs, tubes of light, and all the others. People from around the world are photographing them and communicating with them. Steeped in spiritual history and laced with sacred sites, Wiltshire, England has been home to more crop circles than anywhere else in the world for the last 30 years. Could it be the energy of the ancient stone circles that draw the circle makers to use this as a canvas? Could it be that Stonehenge is on the outer edge, and the Avebury stone circle sits in the center of this phenomena, where 3 underground streams meet? I had an amazing experience of meeting 4 different groups of people from 3 different countries, and I met them in different places around southern England, and all of them told me a similar story about seeing orange balls of light over a particular crop circle in Eastfield on July 29th, 2010. Now, these people didn't know each other, so they weren't comparing stories. And when I put their stories together, I realized that something very ultra-dimensional happened that night over Eastfield.
When I saw it, I was trying to find rational explanations for it. So that's why I started to think, well, maybe people aren't yet ready for the truth.
Are you ready for the truth?
Well, yeah, I think so, yeah. I'm becoming ready. When I tell the story to a lot of people will say, I have to see it with my own eyes until I believe it. And that's how I thought too before I saw what I did this night. It was around midnight. We were on a parking, sleeping there in a tent, and it was too early to go sleep. And I said to my friend, let's take another walk. And so we went up the hill, and just before we wanted to climb up the hill, we met 3 French people who were telling us about 2 orange lightning bolts they saw moving 1 kilometer from where they were. And so yeah, we said to each other, yeah, we want to see it with our own eyes, because you can tell us what you want, of course.
We were like very excited to I'm very curious to see what was there.
Yeah, and we were only a few minutes later, we were only half the way of the hill. We were surprised by 3 great orange lightning bolts that were coming down from the sky. And I said to him, maybe this is something. Let's take a look. And then it was moving, very slowly coming down. All of a sudden, there were like arms and legs coming out of the lightning bolt. So still illuminated, kind of humanoid shape, but in light form. Then it disappeared for a moment, and then it appeared again, and then it disappeared for the rest of the evening. And all of this had been taken 2 or 3 minutes. So because we were so excited, I was asking to him, just pinch me in my heart, because I can't believe what I see. And yeah, he said, no, this is real, man. Just let me look. And that was it. We couldn't hardly believe what we saw with our own eyes. So it was really amazing. I was waiting for it the rest of all of my life, but when I saw it, it was so amazing that I couldn't believe it myself. So that was the most interesting part. That was the moment that I said to myself, I'm really rational. When it comes down to that point, I'm so rational. So yeah, it's hard to understand such supernatural things. Just The ball, let us say, was the whole body, and yeah, it's difficult to explain. There were arms and legs coming out of the ball, and then the head also, and yeah, all of a sudden there was like a small human-shaped light form. That's it. I don't know. Maybe it could be bigger, smaller. I don't know. But it was very bright. In any case, when they came down, they were very bright.
Yeah.
They were growing, then becoming smaller again. Then they came the arms and the legs. Then they were slowly coming down again, disappearing, appearing again, and then disappearing for the rest of the evening.
Yeah, because even the sky was.
Yeah, that was something as well.
See,
The horizon was moving up.
yeah, moving up and down. Like first it was darker, and then it you saw some light in it.
Yeah, it was some like you see when the sun's going down, you have the red zone. So it was like the red zone was extending for a moment. When they came down, there was a lighter zone above the horizon that was coming up. That was also very interesting to see. And I thought it was myself who made this remark, but he said the same. So it was a sign that.
Because I thought actually the same, and I was like, it's just illusion.
The Earth is going through a very special moment in the history of human evolution. That's for sure. That's something I'm really sure about. There are more things than we can see with our senses, and even with our physical senses, apparently there are things we can see. The only thing that it has changed is my opinion of all those witnesses I heard before. The witnesses that told me, yeah, I saw lightning balls, and I couldn't believe it until I saw it this night. So this is the only thing that changed, because all the rest had been changed before. Yeah. The belief. Now I believe it exists. That's all. Just before we wanted to climb up the hill, there were 3 French people that were coming down from that hill, and I asked them if they had seen something, and they told me that they saw 2 orange lightning balls moving from one direction to another, and we said to each other, well, yeah, okay, that can be possible, but we need to see it with our own eyes, so let's go.
That was Igor and Andy from Belgium. And as soon as we finished the interview, the French people walked up. So I asked them, is it true? Did you really see this over East Field?
So yesterday night we were parked with a camping car, and about 11 we climbed the hill, and when we were going down we saw 2 balls, orange lightning balls, on the horizon line. Just before there was a man with a green laser, and he was doing like this, like drawings. He went, he threw the light, the green light, and we said, wow, that's nice, that's very beautiful. And just after we saw the balls on the horizon line. Then we went down and we met this guy, Igor, and he said to us, did you see something? And we said, we just saw 2 balls. And then he said, oh, I'm going, we are going. And so we went to the camping car, and maybe 5-10 minutes after, I saw on the horizon line 3 balls, 3 the same balls, and then one disappeared, but there was stationary, it was not moving, and one disappeared, there was still 2, and then after they disappeared also, but like this, they were like this, and they said, whoop, but no moving. We feel surprised, very surprised, because I have never seen that before. So I was making my mind, what is that? Is it human? Is it maybe, I don't know, but it was surprising, just surprising. Est-ce que tu veux raconter
Oui, ben, je confirme tout à fait l'observation que nous avons fait ensemble.
Is confirming what I'm saying.
Voilà, dans la
D'accord.
description, la première c'était deux sphères de lumière hein,
He saw two balls,
de couleur orange
orange color.
et qui au bout d'un moment s'est éteint brutalement.
They light up when
Non,
you
pas
say
brutalement. Disappeared.
they disappeared suddenly.
Pas brutalement.
La réapparition s'est faite à plusieurs reprises.
They appeared several times, different times.
Et moi, je n'y ai pas mis d'émotion particulière, je suis resté strictement dans l'observation.
He was strictly observing, no emotion.
Voilà. Donc, j'avais un certain recul par rapport à la chose, à l'observation.
He was just observing, not from inside. Oh, I don't know how to translate. Not from inside, but just
For a certain
looking.
distance.
Looking.
Donc, est-ce que ça a un lien avec les crop circles? Je n'en sais rien.
Is there a relationship with the crop circle? He doesn't know.
Donc, je reste uniquement dans les faits.
He's just staying with facts, just observing. Samantha, tu veux parler?
J'ai rien à dire de plus, à part que les boules elles apparaissaient pas d'un coup, elles s'éteignaient petit à petit.
Okay, he said that the balls they didn't disappear for him. They didn't disappear suddenly, but they disappeared little by little. Ah, we definitely saw them, no doubt. What they are, we don't know, but we saw them.
Yeah, it's the same for me. My eyes don't lie.
No.
It's just my rational mind that tries to find rational explanations. But we saw what we saw.
Yeah.
There was a lightning. But that's something. Maybe it was my mind or something. I don't know. That is the thing that that is the most exciting for me, and that is the reason that my rational thoughts try to find an explanation for it. But I can't find a rational explanation.
And nobody took pictures.
No.
No. When the sun sets over there, it becomes the perfect time for the devoted night watchers to climb the hills, find our perch, and set up our cameras. This is no coincidence. Most people are so stunned when they have a sighting that they forget to lift their camera. It was a beautiful sunset over Wiltshire, England, and there was an eerie feeling in the wheat that night. You could almost taste it. I was up on the hill, and there were a few other random people that I didn't know, along with the cows. We saw groups of 2, 3, 4, and sometimes 5 at a time flying together. The balls of light were distinctly different from one another. We saw 3 different colored groups traveling together. One type was gold in color, and the other balls were dark orange. There was a very bright one that flew with the group, but always at a distance from the gold and orange balls. The bright one would appear to be the ball of light that the people referred to in the interviews you just saw. The bright one was distinctly different in appearance, which is clearly visible in the photos. They lit up like bright lights at a distance, except that they moved through the sky and would change direction in unpredictable ways. We could see the balls of light clearly with our eyes in the darkness. They moved slowly, and it was difficult to tell their size or their distance from us. We noticed some unusual markings on the balls that look like a V on the outer edge. Then the ball spun around and showed us something really spectacular. I remember minimizing the experience at the time. I almost believed they were military flares in the night sky over Wiltshire. These documentations are happening all over the world. There's no Photoshop and no games being played here. These appear to be real balls of light that are appearing over and around Eastfield in Wiltshire, England, and many people have seen them. The following day, I headed over to the medieval town of Glastonbury, England, and on the way there, about an hour out of Wiltshire, I stopped at a crop circle called the Roundaway Crop Circle, where I met this young Belgian family with 3 children. I thought it would be interesting to see how children felt about the crop circles, and lo and behold, this young 5-year-old girl told the same story, that she knew that crop circle had something to do with the orange beings. And she said, the circle's not done yet. A 5-year-old child?
She saw this like orange flame, a light that is, you also can see it, she said to me, when there is a candle on. This, and it was behind the circle, in the field behind it, and then she said, the circle is not finished, they are going to finish it later on.
So we expect there will be to be continued on that one.
Soms zie ik in dat oog zo'n groene grote bol van achteren aan die kropcirkel. En hier zie ik een groene met goud, geel, oranje en groen. She saw at another crop circle with an eye, a ball of light with green and gold and orange and yellow. Soms veranderen ze in vormen en soms in soorten engels. Sometimes they mutate in other forms, like shapes, like angels or something. And the angels, they do.
They show us what's good.
She can see sometimes things that I cannot see.
Was this a ball she saw yesterday, last night?
Must be
The day before.
the day, 2 days before today.
You can see if you have a third eye, and she can see, if it's dark enough, she can see your aura. She saw about, above Stonehenge, she saw a rainbow of colors, and on top of it, it's gold, she said. It's just this year that she started to see that.
Ze is op uw mooi gezicht ingezoomd, want het is mooi lachen. I love it. I think it's a message from another dimension that we are doing the wrong thing.
At the end of that day, we went to the event, and after the event, we all went out to dinner. I was sitting at the end of the table with a gentleman named Eddie from Holland, and I asked him, "What do you do?" He explained that he does spirit writing, which is where spirit uses his arm, he closes his eyes. Well, no surprise. Eddie said, a couple days ago I was in a crop circle in Eastfield, and I had a very interesting writing. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I knew it was going to be the same story. And sure enough, Eddie told me that the beings used his arm and they wrote the word orange. And he asked straight out, "Are you the orange beings?" And they wrote the word yes.
some crop circles, and I went down there and went into the crop circle that looked like an arrow. I don't remember the name, but actually it doesn't have a name, I think, but it looked like an arrow shape with round circles making a tail. And I was very pleased because I was the only one in the circle at that time, so I went up to the utmost point in the arrow, so all the way up. And since a few weeks I'm practicing auto writing, and I sat down with my book and went silent, put the pen on the paper, and I just asked if somebody would like to write with me, and I just let it flow freely. And a few drawings came up, which you can show. I can show you. A few drawings came up, and after I finished the first drawing, the second drawing came with made a kind of kundalini form with the same brackets that appear in the crop circle. And after I finished that, they wrote the word good. It was really nice writing. It went freehand, very slowly. And then, and I already had the word in my head, came the word orange. And then I thought, okay, maybe I can kind of communicate with them. So I asked them, are you guys the orange beings? And they clearly wrote yes. And then I asked a few other questions. So I asked them, oh yeah, what does this crop circle mean? And they said it points a direction and location, and there's more to come, and it's not finished. And then I asked the direction to where, and well, they came up with the word north, which I can't explain right now, but you'll see. And I asked why, and they said, look at the sky, message from heaven, help you to remember, and you'll find it out. And then I definitely had the idea that it was finished, nothing coming anymore. It was just, to my feeling, it was a clear end of that happening over there. And yeah, it was very interesting at that moment. Yeah, very interesting. Normally I write with my guide, and then I always start my writing with writing down if my guide wants to write with me. I just write the sentence in Dutch, and then I'll see what happens. And this time I asked, does someone wants to write with me? So I left it open. And clearly it was really my feeling that the first drawing I made was kind of they had to figure out how things work. I don't know, I can't explain. They had to figure out how my arm works, literally. And then the second drawing came, which I can't explain, but it's kind of interesting actually. Well, and then the other things came when I told you about the word good, which felt to me like, okay, you did good, and then orange. Yeah. And orange was very clear in my head as well, just before I wrote it. Orange beings. I began this writing, I think about 5-6 months ago. I had some practice, not every day, but I had some practice. But normally I only write sentences, so words, sentences. And this was actually the second time. The first time was a few days earlier near the three-pointed star near the forest. But this is the second time that it starts with a drawing instead of words. So that is kind of new to me. Yeah, that's really new to me. It's very difficult for me to actually explain or differentiate between if it is coming from outside or from the inside. It's so mixed in with me as a person. But the thing is, I explain what I do. I just put the pen on the paper, and then I clear my head, and I don't judge what's coming on the paper, because as soon as I start judging it, then I interfere with it, and then it doesn't work anymore. So I don't judge, and then it just, I can't explain, it just goes. my hand wants to go in a certain direction, and it's not that that I can't control it, because I always have the choice to do it or not do it. So it's not a forced, I'm not being forced to do it, but I feel a very small tingling in my fingers that like point the direction. So then I know where the pen does want to go. And this, most of the drawing I made here, I did with my closed eyes. Just close my eyes and then it goes like that. Yeah. Oh, I believe the crop circles are definitely real, and I definitely believe they're not made by humans. Well, maybe there are, but the ones I've been in here, definitely not. They're too crisp, they're too complex to make by humans. Yeah, definitely. This one had a really light feeling, so the arrow-shaped form I was in, I explained to you about it, a really light sensation. I've been to another one, it's the 5-pointed star, which was created I think a few weeks before. I think it's now 3 weeks old, and there I could definitely feel that just before the crop circle starts, so just before I stepped in, I had to go through a kind of density, and that it's like a dome is over the crop circle, and you have to walk through the dome. So it has a certain resistance, and so it's just before the circle starts. And once I was in, it was okay. But yeah, I could feel the density around it. And in that circle, I definitely experienced something that I sat down for a while, and then I began to see these sparkling lights. Not really big, but they're very tiny, but very bright spots, and they go around like this all the time. And I could only see them if I focused on the blue parts of the sky, because they fade away against the white. And then I thought, well, okay, I'm being, I don't know, it's my eyes, right? It's the water in the eyes or something that I see. But as soon as I start focusing on them, they had depth in them. So they're not only going left and right, but they're going back and front as well. And that was really amazing experience. It was really amazing, yeah. And then I started to laugh for 3 hours. We've been in there, and it was hilarious laughter, and couldn't stop. And I was with a group, so a lot of people were laughing, and when we finished, it felt to me like 45 minutes I've been in there, and actually we've been in there for 3 hours, and that was really an amazing experience. Yeah. Basically, this is where I started. So they made this kind of V form and then a swirl. And then we started out here. It took a while before the pen moved, and then they made this. And from here, it was definitely my experience of a Kundalini form, so a kind of snake form. After that, this one became clear, and I had to stop here, put my pen here again, and this one was drawn. And this is exactly the same shape that is in the formation at the end right now. So maybe, you never know, this could be the rest of the formation, which was still to come. Then they drew these half circles, this V form, and this kind of strange thing, which I don't understand, because it doesn't quite fit into the whole picture. And this one. And this is like the same brackets as we have here, but then in a different angle. Then they wrote the word good. Then I knew definitely about orange before I wrote it down. These kind of strange V forms, which I don't understand. And then my question and answer thing.
This crop circle appeared in East Field on July 29th, and all of us went into it. The orange balls of light were seen near this crop circle over East Field. The following day, the formation was indeed larger. The young child and Eddie were both correct. Phase 3 appeared on August 3rd, and the message was completed. They offer the information. Your perception is up to you. By the time I finished these 4 interviews, I was completely convinced that something ultra-dimensional, ET perhaps, happened on July 29th, 2010, in East Field. Now, we don't really know if it had anything to do with the crop circle. We just know that they were all there, the same day, having the same experience. And all these people saw it. Many people around the world have seen and captured footage of orange balls of light in the sky. To see them evolve into light beings with arms, legs, and a head is very rare indeed. I've been in contact with a woman named Yvonne who lives in Australia. She's had more interactions with these beings of all different types than anyone I've ever met. She's taken hundreds and hundreds of photos with a variety of 6 different cameras, morning, noon, and night. From mid-2005 to August 2006, Yvonne began the first of 20 cerebral palsy-type episodes which resulted in 2 hospital visits. The nurses had to transport her from the car by wheelchair due to her condition. She also saw a neurologist, and all of the tests showed up as normal. She told the doctors not to worry, and that she generally felt fine, except that when she would go to sit down, she felt like she was doing a somersault into the chair. Halfway through what she now considers to be her realignment, small spheres, which are commonly known as spirit orbs, began to appear in her photographs. Beings of light from other worlds arrived 6 months later in August of 2006. Her odd episodes always finished a few days before they came. She can't hear them, but they seem very keen to show up in all of her photos. She believes that the spirit orbs are a manifestation of human and animal spirits who have passed on into the afterlife. She feels that they are all around us and meets with them every day. When she asks them to come in a particular color or to a particular place, they seem to always respond. Yvonne believes that the realignment prepared her to be able to photograph the invisible worlds around us, some of whom have always been with us, knowing us, though we don't know them. The larger ones, which she calls the beings of light, seemed wary at first, arriving over a few nights in August of 2006. On the first night, they were apparently hiding behind the bushes in her garden. Now she is so familiar with these beings that they seem to accept her as part of their spiritual family. They base themselves close by her home, some of them just a few feet away. They wait outside her door, and she says the phenomena happens to her away from home as well. She's noticed that a small blue sphere, which she calls Blue Orb, seems attached to her in a very protective way. It hovers above the house, above the car, when she sits in the garden, and goes everywhere she goes. She was naturally anxious at first when the beings arrived in her garden in 2006. She had been photographing the colorful orbs at night with a camera flash for 6 months, and when the larger ones arrived, she was concerned that she had been noticed by extraterrestrials in metal spaceships, and was a bit concerned about the stories she had heard of being beamed up. She believes that there are numerous other invisible beings, and she has filmed more than 15 different types.
Starseed in the universe, better get better before it gets worse, yeah. Anybody listening? Is that a warm mind flying by, or a weather balloon falling from the sky? Anybody listening? Anybody listening?
Intergalactic planetary subconscious dismissal. We ain't the only ones of the universe that's official. Cosmic dialogue is beginning, open your mind. Energy is in us as we travel through space and time.
Listening. Anybody listening? Anybody listening? You got to open your mind. Anybody listening? You got to open your mind. Anybody listening? Abductions coming from the skies. Look into the gentle eyes. Technologies that they never die. We can even clean the sky and the sea for you and me. And the fishes. Anybody listening? Anybody listening? Anybody listening? Anybody listening?
Language unfolding through a crops of a rhyme, and the starships presenting vision seen by the blind. We just a star in the universe, a speck in the galaxy. Look up in the sky and see the mothership's cavalry. I know there's much more here than people believe. We are cosmic citizens to fly forever free.
Anybody listening? Anybody listening? Anybody listening? Anybody listening? Anybody listening?
Open your mind.
Anybody listening? Are you gonna open your mind?
Desperate for some light on what was happening, Yvonne searched her house for her New Age cards, which she rarely used. Incredibly, only one card came out time after time over the next 6 days, no matter how much she shuffled the deck. The message on that one card was that she should not be frightened, and that she would not be asked to do anything she couldn't do, and that great, highly developed beings would protect her from the lower energies. The message came 8 times over those 6 days before she finally accepted it. In mid-August of 2006, the Red Dome, or bell-shaped beings, arrived. The next most obvious group was the Orange Balls of Light. Later came the smaller golden spheres, accompanied by a variety of other colored spheres. Huge shafts of different colored lights appeared. She called the big ones light beings. Their arrival coincided with predictions by an American psychic woman that the portals between our world and other worlds and dimensions was wide open on that date, and that highly developed beings would be coming through to help our world. Yvonne didn't know about that prediction until months later. The psychic claimed that these beings had been intending to come to Earth for many years, but that the lower energies on Earth had prevented their arrival. The psychic further claimed that the time was now ripe for them to arrive and that nothing would hold them back. She said their intention was to assist humanity. Yvonne notices that there seems to be a harmonious communication between the tiny orbs and the larger orbs on a regular basis. She notices that the beings are often on guard around sick animals on her farm. Some of the photos show a particular large sphere that was always near her poor sick sheep, which she thought was dying. He did survive, and she believed that the sphere provided a healing effect. Yvonne noticed that when her animals passed over, there was a huge welcome from the large and small spheres at the same time. After the horrific Australian fires where several hundred people were killed, there was incredible activity of shafts of light and distinctive-looking smaller spheres around her home and garden the week after. The tiny orbs often respond to her requests to come as a certain color or to come to a certain place. They arrive by the hundreds after 30 seconds or so when she starts photographing. She senses that they move quickly and that they are able to move freely. The orange and red beings seem to project themselves, something like a holograph, into the photos, sometimes using a light source, but not always. The different colored shafts are free-moving and usually appear at significant times or in response to her request. They wait at her bedside. They look in her windows. They play with her toys. And they dance by the fire. They smile at the trees. They assist with healing humans when asked. Yvonne lives in a place where the spirits play and lights dance. The other worlds have clearly chosen her and her property to be a vortex where they can come and go freely and share their magic. Yvonne asked the orbs to make a circle, and they performed perfectly for her. She believes they are spirits of humans and animals she has personally known who have passed on. She might ask them to come to a photo or to a certain place in her house, and they always do. The truth is that they are everywhere and around everyone. The difference of seeing them or not depends on us alone. They seem to be around all the time, but are not intrusive into our lives. When someone she knows passes over, she will ask them to visit her as a certain color, and one nearly always does on its own just minutes later. She'll ask them to come to a certain book that she thinks may be of interest to them. When there is a paranormal show on TV, there are usually a few orbs hovering around the TV set, but they always go away when the advertisements come on or when the show finishes. They watch us as we awaken and encourage our ascension into higher consciousness. The choice is ours alone. She invites them to join her with visiting friends or acquaintances, if her friends express an interest or wish to have a loved one in spirit visit with them. When the friend takes a photo, the orb is usually seen close to the friend. Yvonne says that when she throws a party, she'll usually see the orbs outside the window. Yvonne and the orbs seem to have an arrangement that when she starts photographing, they agree to come. After a few flashes, they arrive in a mass. When she asks them to show her something other than the round orb shape, they will show her a variation. When she asks them to appear behind her wire fencing so that she can demonstrate their size, they usually oblige. Doctors have brought terminally ill patients to Yvonne's property, and they've had surprisingly good results there. There are always orbs surrounding the patient during the healing session. She says they read her mind telepathically and she doesn't have to voice anything out loud. Yvonne is grateful for the wonderful and strange abilities she's been given to show others the beings of the invisible worlds around us. She goes out every night to acknowledge them, and I believe that that's what we need to do to bring them to our property. To say, we want to see you. Remember, it's not what you see. It's what you don't see. It's not who you know. It's who you really are.
In life we are grounded, but in our dreams we can fly. Go where we please, no need to land, and stop, we never try. Quiet your mind and just feel the breeze, cause in dreams we conquer mountains and land on top of the trees. Feel so free, only stopping to breathe. Every door is open, no lock and no key. Realizing I'm free, I just fly. Yeah, I just fly. stop me now, just as free as I wanna be. Fly as high as I wanna fly, feeling nothing but real inside. Nothing holding me down, looking down over rivers and streams. Take the high road, let's travel, cause it means so much more to me. Touching down, I'll leave the rest, seeing the best of the best. A free spirit with the skies, my nest. Believe in myself, rise above it all. Nothing is missing, I feel complete when I fly. Worry free as I am blessed in the sky, cause I fly.
The elders were correct.